Right, so I'm down in Park Ferme and I found, how about this, our race winner, David Woodard. That was a fantastic race. You were in there at the start. In the middle of the race, you fell back a bit, but you just kept going.
Yeah, the start was quite good. Stayed similar sort of position, then fell back. There was a little bit of a gap, so I pushed hard, closed the gap, picked them off one by one. I'm really happy. I'd like to thank Team DHR. They gave me an outrageous cart, man. It was amazing. Thank you.
When you were in second place, it looked like you were always going to try and move somewhere because you had the speed.
Yeah, I'm going for the win, and managed to pay off. My speed turned into a bit more of a result this weekend. So
was it good or bad having your teammate right behind you?
Yeah, it's good. I think we worked well together. I'd like to thank my dad, my family who supported me at home watching live timing. Thanks.
This must rate is one of your best weekends ever, mustn't it?
Yeah, one of the best. Yeah, definitely.
Well done, David. Hope to see lots more of you in Europe next year. Well done. Great drive.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Well done to David Woodard and to Dan Holland Racing taking the victory in the juniors. I'm going to head back to the grid now because we've got some seniors that we'll try and grab a word with before their race starts in a few minutes' time. Okay, I'm just making my way onto the grid, ready for the senior race, the final, which is coming up. On the front row, we got Luke Varley and Nicola Pico after a pretty dramatic pre-final. Luke, well done. This is a nice surprise, isn't it, seeing you at the front after, I think you started the last lap in about 6th place, didn't you, in the pre-final?
Yeah, there was big chaos in the last corner, so I just managed to pick up the places and win, so yeah.
You seem to have developed the kart and your setup. You got quicker as the weekend's gone on. You've had to battle through a few times though from lower grid positions.
Yeah, we've struggled a lot. I've started 25 in the heats, started 20th in the final, and it's difficult racing. Everybody defends, nobody gets away. The slipstream's a lot, so anybody can win really. And
again, I spoke to some of the juniors. We've got a bit of a wind picking up now, so the slipstreaming is going to be a key factor here in this race, isn't it?
Yeah, sure.
So up for it, ready to win?
Yep.
Good man. Thanks for your time. Good luck. A bit late getting the cart because they're now clearing the grid then. So Luke Varley there, who's going to start the race from pole position you heard from. I'm going to clear the grid and make my way back into the commentary box because in just a couple of minutes' time, the senior race will get underway. Time then for our second final. The grid has been cleared. You just heard from Luke Varley, who starts the race from pole position. We had a dramatic pre-final. Going into the final corner of the last lap of the pre-final, Jordan Chamberlain led the race. Ed Brand was right behind him in second place. Ed tried to move into the last corner. It didn't pay off. There was contact. Both drivers went off and dropped down the order. The one that was probably the unluckiest in all of that was the driver in third place at the time, Oliver Myers, because he had nowhere to go and got seriously delayed. So Oliver's going to start back on the 7th row of the grid, but certainly he's much quicker than that would have you believe. And so Luke Varley, who I think started the last lap in 6th place, picked his way through and ended up winning the race. Nicola Pico second and Connor Jupp, who was 4th going into the last corner, but had a little bit of a gap back to the top 3, which turned out to be a good thing because it enabled him to get past the carnage and through. So the grid based on the results of the pre-final. You'll notice that Ed Brand is down in 28th place. He actually finished the race 22nd when he got going again. So he went from 2nd to 22nd on that last corner. He went off the road completely, both drivers spinning out. Then afterwards, after the checkered flag, there was a little bit of retaliation, let's say, between the top two, as had been. And the end result is that I'm afraid Jordan Chamberlain has been excluded from the meeting. So Jordan, who had led going into the pre-final, into the final corner, will not be taking part in this race. And there was a 10-second penalty added to Ed Brand, which is why, rather than being 22nd on the grid, he's going to be 28th on the grid. The reason being given for unfair driving. So that was the drama. Luke Varley on pole position then for KMS Hungary. And he won the race in the end by 41 thousandths of a second from Nicola Pico, who was on the podium in the final round of the Euro Challenge in France and has looked pretty strong here. Connor Jupp was quickest in qualifying on Friday and started all the races, the heats yesterday from pole position. Didn't get a win, but he's always been there or thereabouts this weekend in third and fourth. He's had a good weekend and he's in a very good spot there in third place. So keep your eye on Connor Jupp. So KMS Hungary's Luke Varley on pole. In second place, Sodi Kart's Nicola Pico. Coles Racing then have the second row locked out with Connor Jupp and Josh White up there as well. Josh making a very welcome return to kart racing. Big ask for him this weekend, coming back into karting after a year away, but he's shining. He's up to fourth place. That's where he's going to start. And completing the top six, Max Aitken starts in fifth place. Max was in the lead battle, started the pre-final from the front row, then got pushed down the order. He was ninth starting the final lap and picked up 4 places as a result of that incident at the final turn. So Max starts fifth, and he's another strong competitor here with a good grid spot. Rupa Markkanen has been impressive on his senior debut, and the Finnish driver starts sixth. So that's the top 6 on the grid. On row 4, we've got Lucas Bartosuk 7th. Josh Price had a tremendous drive through the pre-final from near the back of the grid to pick up 8th place. So Josh Price starting in 8th position. On row 5, Xavier Pozzoli, who also made great progress through the field and has finally got a good result this weekend to match his speed. So Xavier one to watch in kart 305. Sam Smelt has been thereabouts all weekend and he's in the top 10 as well. On row 6, we've got Jay Nijar up from juniors and Adam Glear, number 330. Row 7, Jack Bartholomew and Oliver Myers, one to watch there, I reckon, is Oliver in kart 270. Row 8, Jose Pedro Ferreira, who also was in the wars, got pushed off early in the race and had to recover to 15th, but he should be higher up the order. Abdullah Al-Rahawi on the 8th row of the grid. On the 9th row, Jeremy Lesoudier and Jessica Batman. On the 10th row, Vincent Fraise and Julien Fong-Wiji. On the row 11, Jakob Sandor and Cameron Brown. Row 12 is Glenn Rupp and Josh Collins. Row 13 is Maxim Kim and Raya Haruka. Row 14, Reese Malion and Ed Brand. And row 15, Lucas Blaskowski and Julien Falchero. Row 16, Philip Valenza, starting the race from 31st position. So 31 karts starting the senior final, the Rotax International Open here in Zuera. It's going to be a 15-lap race. It's going to be 15 action-packed laps. Let's see how they get on as they come round ready for the rolling start. Luke Varley, former Grand Finals world champion, leading them round, and it's a clean start. Luke Varley gets a decent start. Connor Jupp tucks in behind him from third on the grid to go into second place. Nicola Pico is trying to get in the mix as well, but he's pushed down to third or fourth place. Max Aitken has made a good start. He's got the inside line through turn 2 and tries to get third. It doesn't quite pay off. He's there in fourth place. There's a tangle at turn 2, so 3 or 4 karts involved in that, 2 going off on the grass, but everybody's recovered and everybody has got going again. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, coming through turn 4, our race leader is Luke Varley, so he continues to lead the race here. Connor Jupp on his tail in second position. I think it's Pico in third, and in fourth place, Max Aitken coming through next. Josh White is in the mix as well, making a decent start to the race. They're coming through turn 7. There's been another incident, this time at turn 3. So 1, maybe 2 drivers have gone off. 2 drivers, I think, down on the grass at turn 3. There's a little bit more undulation in this circuit than it looks like on the TV pictures. It is a little bit up and down. It's not exactly undulating, but it's not dead flat either as they come out through the final turn. To start the second lap of the race, Luke Varley coming under pressure. Oh, he's down a second. Connor Jupp's gone through. Connor Jupp into the lead of the race. Luke Varley putting him under pressure to get the lead back. And Max Aitken is trying to get third place at the inside, but Nicola Pico fends him off. They both run a bit wide, splitting the pair of them. Then is going to be Josh White. Josh White gets in between them and picks up fourth place. So that was a case of Max Aitken trying a move at the inside. It didn't pay off. Pico had to go very late into the corner on the brakes, very wide. They were both a bit messy. Pico held his place. Aitken did not, and Josh White was able to split them. Jack Bartholomew has made an excellent start to the race from 13th on the grid. He's up into 6th position, and Oliver Myers has already made good progress. He's up into 7th place. Al-Rahawi is 8th, and in 9th place is Ed Brand from 28th on the grid. Awesome first lap from Ed Brand. Now that puts him in a much, much stronger position, doesn't it? So Ed Brand into 9th place here from 28th on the grid at the end of the first lap. If he can have another good couple of laps here and get himself up into the top 4 or 5, he's got half a shout. You never know. It'd be quite dramatic stuff. So through they come. Connor Jupp leading the way. Luke Varley is benefiting from that toe now. It's pulling him along, and he's doing a good job here. So Luke, looking very focused before the start of the race, is 1 second clear now of White, who's up to 3rd, Aitken 4th, Myers 5th, Bartholomew 6th, Al-Rahawi 7th. Ed Brand's got another place. He's up into 8th position. They're coming up towards turn 4 now. There's the wide shot, and just about to go from the right to the left of your TV pictures. Through the turn they come. Connor Jupp and Luke Varley, the top two. Bit of a gap back then to Josh White, who was a forerunner in the Junior European Championship 2 years ago before he went off racing in Ginettas. Max Aitken has got back to 4th. Oliver Myers, I can see there in 5th place. Jack Bartholomew, who hasn't really been in the mix this weekend for one reason or another. He's coming good at exactly the right time for him. None of the other stuff matters, really. The heats, the pre-finals. It's all about being in the mix in this final. And Jack's put himself in a really good position at the end of that first lap. But he's got some quick drivers behind him. The likes of Ed Brand in the mix as well. And Al-Rahawi doing a good job as well in that lead group. Connor Jupp leading through turn 1 at the start of the 4th lap of the race. Luke Varley hanging on to him. They're working together nicely, but they are slightly slower on that lap than 3rd and 4th. So White and Aitken about a 10th quicker on that lap, going down into turn 3. There's still 4 or 5 kart lengths between 2nd and 3rd. So White, Aitken and Myers now will try and work together to stay in touch and maybe even close the gap to the 2 leaders. They've got plenty of time. It's a 15-lap race, a pretty long race around a long circuit at 1.7 kilometres long. Through into the left-hander at turn 6 they go on the brakes. So a lot of incidents there yesterday. I haven't seen too many dramas down there today, though. Most of the incidents coming, as you probably would expect, at turn 2 at the start of the race, when they all hit the brakes and try and filter into position. So going very well indeed in 7th place is Abdullah Al-Rahawi, the Omani driver, coming from 16th on the grid. He had a really good first lap. So Al-Rahawi looking good here. It's end of his first season of European competition. Brand is 8th. Nicola Pico, dropping back early on in the race, is back up into 9th place now, ahead of Vincent Fraise. So the 2 French drivers 9th and 10th in the race. Josh Price had a bad start. He suffered something on the first 2 laps and dropped towards the back of the field, but he started to pick up some places now, and Josh is back up to 17th. Pozzoli was another one who dropped back as the 2 leaders go wheel to wheel. Connor Jupp has got the inside line. Trying the outside line was Luke Varley. It didn't pay off, and through turn 4 up the inside went Josh White. So Josh White up to 2nd place now. But he left the door slightly open on the way to turn 6. Varley has a go at the inside. Varley touches wheels with him, and both of them go out. Josh White is out on the grass. So is Luke Varley at turn 6. And there was me saying nothing too untoward had been happening at turn 6 today. But that was Luke Varley just having a go at the inside. Half a chance, half a gap was left open. Josh White turned in. I don't think he would have even expected Luke Varley to be there. And the front right of Varley's kart, his front right wheel rode over the left rear of Josh White. He rode over him, and happily Josh is walking away because he must have taken a knock to the shoulder or something there. The full impact to Luke Varley's kart. So they're both, I'm afraid, out of the race, and that's a real shame after both of them had done so well to get there. And Josh White in particular having a tremendous drive through. I think we'll feel a bit aggrieved at that. But anyway, it's pushed everybody together in this lead group now. Connor Jupp. Max Aitken is the new 2nd place kart. And 3rd, that looks like Ed Brand now. So Ed Brand's coming to 3rd place. Al-Rahawi is in the mix as well. Oliver Myers has dropped back to, 5th place. And 6th then, we've got Jack Bartholomew. So the top 6 now together, going past the scene of the crime down at turn 6. Coming into the pits with a damaged kart is number 334. So out of the race is Reece Mallion, I'm afraid. That's looks like his race run. By the time he gets back out there, it's probably going to be a lap down. The leader's coming out through the final turn. We're about to complete the 6th lap of the race. So 15-lap race, not yet at the halfway mark. Glancing over the shoulder is Connor Jupp. Ed Brand, incredibly, is in second place now. Make it third. Max Aitken's dived up the inside. Ed Brand keeps his foot in around the outside, runs wide, runs deep, loses 1, 2, 3, 4 places. Down to 5th place he goes. So Ed Brand tried to keep his foot in. It didn't work. But how he's got himself into this battle, I'll never know. From such a lowly grid position, Ed Brand must have had an incredible first lap. Picked his way through the traffic. Went from 28th to 9th on the first lap. And here he is, having started almost at the back where he probably should have been in the first place, up in the top 2, or at least he was. But he's just lost those positions around the outside where he had less grip through turn 2. And Connor Jupp's been in this position already today, leading a race, and he knows that they'll be waiting to pick him off in a straight line once they pick up his toe. Max Aitken has fought back nicely to second place. Al-Rahawi, I think, is third now, having a really super race here, and just looking comfortable in the race. Through he goes. Yes, it is Al-Rahawi in third place, but he's got Oliver Myers right on his tail now. His rear bumper, and Ed Brand as well. They make their moves. Al-Rahawi is forced deep into the corner because he had to brake so late to keep Oliver Myers behind him. He holds the position, and they all concertina up together. The top 6 are together. The next 5 are catching them up. We're going to have a string of karts here battling for the second half of the race. 7 laps complete. Almost 7.5, so we're almost exactly at half distance. Connor Jupp leads. Max Aitken is second. And then going great guns from 16th on the grid is Abdullah Al-Rahawi in third place. Oliver Myers is 4th. Ed Brand is in 5th place. Jack Bartholomew is 6th. But Nicola Pico is up there in 7th. One of the front runners runs wide. I think it's Abdullah Al-Rahawi that ran wide coming out of turn 6. And he's lost 3, maybe 4, maybe even 5 places as a result of that. Definitely 4. He's out of the top 6. And that's just given a bit more breathing space to the top 2, but I doubt it will last. So Myers will be 3rd. Brand will be back up to 4th place. Across they come into the second half of the race. Over the line. Connor Jupp leading from Max Aitken, Myers, Brand. Vincent Fraise in 5th. Nicola Pico 6th. The 2 French drivers working together to get themselves back up the order here. Doing a good job. Bartholomew 7th. Rupp is in 8th place. Bartosuk is 9th. Al-Rahawi dropped, I'm afraid, down to 10th place. So he's gone from 3rd to 10th with that moment coming out of turn 6. Fong Guiji, the Singapore driver, having his best run of the weekend so far. He's in 11th place. And Rupert Markkanen, who started the race in 6th position, down in 12th. Xavier Pozzoli, 13th, trying to come back up the order. Faria, 14th. Josh Price completing the top 15. Jay Najjar, who's been quick all weekend, has been in the wars at the start of this race, and he's down in 17th position. Having shone really on the first 2 days of the meeting, particularly on Friday, with a super performance in qualifying. But karting can be a cruel sport. Doesn't matter how good you drive. Sometimes the luck's not with you. Another lap about to be complete then. Over the start-finish line they come. 9 laps down, 6 laps to go. Connor Jupp leads, but he's taking nothing for granted. Max Aitken is behind him. They were 1st and 2nd going on to the final lap of the 3rd heat earlier on today, and Max Aitken launched one up the inside. A good, clean, fair move. He got past Connor Jupp, but unfortunately for both of them, Ed Brand was able to go around the outside of the pair of them to pick up positions. So that was the move that changed it all in the 3rd heat yesterday. Oliver Myers has done well from the 7th row of the grid to get himself back up to 3rd. Ed Brand is in the hunt here in 4th place. 5th position is Vincent Fraise. Jack Bartholomew 6th. Pozzoli's dropped down the order on the previous lap. He's fighting back now, but he's dropped out of that lead group. So Pozzoli didn't see what happened earlier on to him, but he's back up to 13th position. Pico's just fallen away from this lead group as well. He's in 9th place now, Nicola Pico, having worked hard to get himself back up into the top 6. Connor Jupp's just making a break for it now, and there could be a challenge for 2nd place. There is a challenge, and it's a successful one as Oliver Myers gets up the inside of Max Aitken, but Max fighting straight back, looking at the inside on the way into turn 2. Great driving from Max Aitken to get the place back. Oliver Myers with a good clean move. Max Aitken fighting back fairly, and Ed Brand is now getting in the mix from 4th place. He's trying to go around the outside line here. There may be a bit of contact coming out through turn 3. Is Ed Brand going to squeeze up a place? Yes, he's going to go up to 3rd. So Aitken is 2nd, Brand is 3rd. Vincent Fraise goes through as well in 4th position. So Oliver Myers slips back a place to 5th with Jack Bartholomew just on their tail in 6th place, but not really quite getting involved in the fight yet. But he's having a really good driver in his first weekend of European competition as a senior driver. And Jack Bartholomew having a good day today. He's had mixed fortune so far this weekend, but he's in with a shout of a podium here. There's nothing between them. That second group of karts, though, the 5 of them from 2nd to 7th, could do with settling down for a lap or two just to try and reel in the race leader. He's broken away from them by half a second. Connor Jupp giving it absolutely everything here. Through the right-hander at turn 1 he goes. 4 laps to go in the race. He's now over a second clear. He's doubled his advantage while they all held each other up. But Max Aitken has got his head down at the start of this lap and he's trying to close the gap. Ed Brand there in 3rd position, trying to break away from those behind. But Max Aitken's going for it here. It's everything. It's all or nothing here for Max Aitken for the next couple of laps. Good to see Max back up at the front of European competition. Very quick driver as a junior, and he is looking good this weekend. He's been solid the whole weekend. So Max Aitken charging on. Ed Brand and Oliver Myers, 3rd and 4th now. So Oliver Myers gaining a place. Vincent Fraise in 5th place, coming under attack from Jack Bartholomew. And Jack's got ahead of him, I think. So Jack into 5th place now. His highest position of the weekend, I would say. So Jack Bartholomew up to 5th. Connor Jupp leading the way. First 5 drivers now British. Aitken in 2nd, Brand in 3rd. Oliver Myers tapping the rear bumper of Ed Brand as he just got sucked into the toe down the straight line into turn 1. There's all sorts of battles going on the tail end of the top 10 as well. Some really close scraps with the likes of Bartosuk, Rupp, Pico and Ferrier's back into the top 10 now. Al Rahawi's fought back to 11th, Markinen in 12th place. No other real drivers charging up the order. I'm afraid Sam Smelt must have tumbled down the order somewhere early on in the race, so he's down in 19th place, having gone well all weekend. The final's not worked out for him, I'm afraid, but he's been competitive and he'll take something from that. Well, Connor Jupp's 1 second advantage was whittled down to half a second at the start of the lap, and I would say it's down to about 1/10 of a second now as they make their way through turn 7 towards the double right and into the left-hander at turn 8. There's 2 more laps to go at the end of this one, and Connor Jupp is feeling a little bit less comfortable than he was 2 laps ago. He's got Max Aitken coming after him, and Ed Brand's closing up in 3rd, and Ed Brand is not one to sit there in 3rd place and accept this. He'll, if he gets a chance, as we know, he'll probably go for it. Oliver Myers in 4th place. 5th place, Jack Bartholomew trying to fend off Vincent Fraise. Good scrap going on there for 5th. And the gap from 1st to 2nd is down to nothing. So Connor Jupp leads. Max Aitken is with him, though. And Ed Brand is quicker than the pair of them. He's closing up. He's bringing Oliver Myers with him. We're going to have 4 of them together here going into the last lap or so. We might have 6 of them together if they start fighting each other, because it might give a chance for the likes of Jack Bartholomew and Vincent Fraise to come through. Tremendous scrap going on for 7th place as well between Rupp, Bartosuk and Pico. That's a really good battle that we've got there. A little bit further away from the top 6. Ferrier in that mix as well, I think. And Connor Jupp leads the way. Max Aitken getting close, though. So he's Max now waiting for the last lap before he makes a move. Could be. There's not really much chance through turns 8 and 9, as we've already seen today. It's a bit tight. So they're about to come onto the start-finish straight and start the 15th and final lap of the race. Connor Jupp leads. Is that the best place to be, though? They're all going to pick up his toe, particularly Max Aitken. He's got to defend like crazy going into turn 2 here. Connor Jupp has got to brake as late as he dares. He's done that, and he's still in the lead of the race. So tick that one off. That's one big chance out of the way. Connor Jupp still leads. Max Aitken. Ed Brandy's busy fending off the 4th place man, Oliver Myers, and that's delaying him a little bit. They close up together through turn 3, coming up towards turn 4. It's still Connor Jupp that leads the race. Max Aitken trying everything. The battle for 3rd couldn't be much tighter either between Brand and Myers. They're coming out of turn 5, accelerating down towards turn 6 now. Little bit of a downhill run into the braking zone. Through the left-hander, Connor Jupp hanging on to the lead of the race. He's got 1 kart length advantage here. It looks like being between those 2. Ed Brand has had a super drive through the field to 3rd, but he can't quite get in touch with the top 2. Into turn 7 they go for the final time. Into the left at turn 8. 1 more corner to go for Connor Jupp to hang on to this. He brakes, he turns right. Now he gets on the throttle. Now he's just got to hang on to the throttle, duck his head and take the checkered flag, and I think he's going to do it. The checkered flag comes out. Connor Jupp wins the race. Max Aitken is absolutely delighted with 2nd place, though. That's a tremendous drive by Max. He's well pleased, and so he should be. And the pair of them gave us a great race there. And Ed Brand, what a drive through from the back of the field. He's had a roller coaster of a day, but third place for Ed Brand. Fourth position for Oliver Myers. Was not quite on the podium, and he maybe deserved to be on the podium this weekend. He's had a fair bit of bad luck, Oliver Myers, but good drive anyway, through to fourth place. In fifth position was Jack Bartholomew. That was good to see him showing us what he can do in a senior kart. Jack Bartholomew with his best drive of the weekend there in fifth place. Vincent Fraise was sixth, and then in seventh place, bringing them home, was Glenn Rupp, the German driver. So he did well. Nicola Pico eighth in the end. Bartosuk was ninth for Ria. Rounded out the top 10, and there was a good stint in the middle of the race, wasn't there, for Abdullah Al-Wahawi, who was up to third place at one point. In the end he finished 12th, but that was a strong performance, and I think if he keeps that up he'll be one to watch maybe next year. Connor Jupp then, the winner for Coles Racing, nearly 2/10 clear of Max Aitken for Strawberry. Ed Brand, tremendous drive through to third. Oliver Myers fourth from the seventh row of the grid. That was good effort. Jack Bartholomew fifth, Vincent Fraise sixth, Glenn Rupp seventh, Nicola Pico eighth, Lucas Bartosuk was ninth, Jose Pedro Faria 10th, Rupa Markkanen, disappointing result for him in the end after a super weekend. He's 11th, Abdullah Al-Wahabi 12th, Julien Fong-Weiji, one of his best drives this weekend, in 13th place for the Singaporean. Adam Clear was 14th, Jay Najar down in 15th, Josh Collins 16th, and Xavier Pozzoli was in 17th place. And then the rest of the runners, Ryo Hiruka, Lucas Blaskowski and Maxim Kim rounding out the top 20. Filip Valenza 21st, Julian Falchera 22nd, Sam Smelt 23rd, Josh Price didn't finish the race, he was 6 laps down in 24th. Reese Mallion had problems and didn't finish. We know about Luke Varley and Josh White coming together. Jessica Batman, I'm afraid, didn't get very far into the race, nor did Jakob Sandor, nor did Cameron Brown, nor did Jeremy Lesoudier. He didn't start the race, or didn't make it to the end of the first lap at least. So Ed Brand with the fastest lap of the race. He was third. Max Aitken was a delighted second, but the race winner here in Zuera for the seniors, Connor Jupp.